Mind of a Brahman, actions of a Rishi. As soon as attributes of a Brahman awaken in the inner self of an individual, saintliness is effortlessly expressed in his actions. A Brahman means a person who possesses the moral strength to overcome allurements and greed. He resists temptations and is happily contented in leading the life of an average citizen. I received guidance from Gurudev in the early days of my life how to cultivate these attributes of a Brahman. Thus, I was truly reborn as a Brahman. My physical birth from Brahman parents was of no significance. I might have assumed and shed human bodies carrying an animal like soul during many lives in the past. I have no recollection how many times during this immortal and eternal journey I had led sinful animal like lives heavy laden with sin and consequent suffering. But I feel blessed and blissful with the achievements of this life, which can be truly called of a Brahman. It is in this very birth that I have had the rare opportunity and joy of transforming myself into a divinized man in an animal body. A Brahman has a huge fund of surplus energy at his disposal as he spends only a small fraction of it to satisfy his personal and family needs. Elephants, camels, buffaloes have big stomachs. One can understand why they spend so much time in filling up their stomachs. A man with two dexterous and skillful hands, a mind capable of finding out thousand ways and means to earn necessary resources and cooperation of family and friends should be able to earn his livelihood easily. Man has a very small stomach. Even peacocks, pigeons earn enough to meet their daily needs. There is thus no problem as such for man to earn his livelihood. It can be done within a few hours, leaving many spare hours for altruistic efforts. Persons in whom saintliness awakens think only as to how best and where to utilize their spare time, labor, resources, and talent. It does not need much time to find a reply to this question. The lives of illumined personalities provide us the demonstrations in this respect. One is free to accept any of these divinized personages as his role model. Only demons have unrestrained and insatiable cravings and desires. It is they who plan to amass unlimited wealth and resources and to enjoy them without restraint, but none, right from Hiranyaksh to Sikandar, was able to fulfill such a desire. Divine man, Dev Manav, emerges at the meeting point between the soul and God. He has several other names like a great man, a saint, a reformer, a martyr, etc. In ancient days, such persons were known as rishis whose needs were minimum and who applied the savings of their resources, money, etc. in tasks which were essential to fulfill the needs of the time spirit. They helped in enhancing righteous tendencies. They did not allow the evil designs of those who were bent upon causing destruction to succeed. Rishis mobilized all their efforts directly or indirectly in this direction. They did immense work by moving ahead in positive pursuits step by step and by accumulating a reservoir of excellence drop by drop. I fail to appreciate that devotion, bhakti, in which there is emotional effervescence without any moral restraint. I found the rishi path of life worth emulation and tried to mobilize all my time and resources in the revival of these traditions. Those engaged in constant single pointed effort are able to amass huge wealth through small earnings over a time. A bird collects straws one by one and prepares a beautiful nest. It was my good fortune that I got an opportunity to revive Rishi traditions, and it has shown good results. Different rishis had undertaken different assignments in the ancient times and had accomplished them satisfactorily. They had sufficient leisure and opportunities to do so. But in these days of emergency, several things are to be done simultaneously with great speed. If a house is on fire, the work of rescuing children and valuable goods has to be done at the same time. I am facing a similar situation, and different tasks which different rishis had entrusted to me were to be accomplished simultaneously. I have received inspiration, guidance, and help from my great Gurudev, and I have done whatever I was required to do with utmost willingness. The ancient story of Sri Krishna acting as charioteer and Arjun handling the Gandiv bow seems to have been repeated in my case. A momentous task like transforming of an epoch is accomplished by the will, plan, and power of God, but the credit for it is given to liberated Rishi Kalp souls. This alone is the best reward for their sadhana, their competence. I also got the opportunity of getting this credit, and I feel blessed and fulfilled. As I am able to clearly foresee, even at this moment, the events that are to happen in the distant future, I have no hesitation in making this statement. None of the ancient rishis have their physical bodies now, although their individual consciousness still persists in appropriate planes of manifestation. I was introduced to all of them and was asked to follow in their footprints, establish an ashram at Shantikunj Haridwar as a symbol of Devatma Himalaya, and execute the program of revival of Rishi traditions in such a way that the transition to the new era may be as smooth as possible. Rishis, great men with awakened souls who had once lived physically in the Himalayas and about whom Gurudev had referred in my third pilgrimage to the Himalayas, were Bhagirath, Gangotri, Parashuram, Yamunotri, Charak, Kedarnath, Vyas, Badrinath, Yagyavalk, Triyogi Narayan, Narad, Gupta Kashi, Adi Shankaracharya, Jyotirmat, Jamdagni, Uttar Kashi, Vashisht, Dev Prayag, Pipalad, Tooth Shonik, Lakshman, Bharat and Shatrughan, Rishikesh and Daksh Prajapati, Kanad, Saptarishi including Vishwamitra Haridwar. I was given glimpses of the lives and works of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Sant Gyaneshwar and Tulsi Das, and was directed to spread the Parivrajak Dharmachakra, reawakening movement of Bhagwan Buddha throughout the world in the light of present circumstances through the medium of music, Sankirtan and discourses of Pragya Puran, and thus enable Pragyavatar to fulfill the latter half of the mission of Buddhavatar. Gurudev had already given a hint during my pilgrimage to the Himalayas that just as gymnasiums, Mahavir temples were got established by me in one of my earlier births as Samarth Ramdas, I have to give them new forms as Pragya Sansthans, Pragya Peeths, Karan Peeths, Gyan Mandir, Swadhyay Mandals, etc. The direction of transforming Shantikunj as a symbolic representative of Devatma Himalaya was not an easy task. It needed labor, money, and cooperation of the colleagues. The souls of rishis residing in the Himalaya in astral bodies had to be summoned, invoked, and installed here. Temples of various gods have been built at various places, but living installation of the souls of all the rishis at one place cannot be found elsewhere. It is still more important to know that not only mere idols of rishis have been installed here for symbolic worship, but anyone sufficiently purified and fine-tuned can feel the strong vibrations of their particular energies. Thus, Shantikunj and Brahma Varchas represent the energies of all the rishis. To commemorate his victory over Lanka and establish Ram Rajya, Bhagwan Ram had built the temple of Rameshwaram and installed the idol of Shiv. It is my good fortune that I had got an opportunity to build a temple and install the living soul of Devatma Himalaya in Shantikunj as a living symbol of my single-pointed pursuit, Param Purusharth, towards the ushering in of the new era. The grand temple of Devatma Himalaya can be seen here, along with 5 Pragyas, 5 Kashis, 5 sacred rivers, 5 sacred lakes, as well as the respective places of tapasya of the rishis. This is thus a unique temple. Those who have not visited the difficult regions of the higher Himalayas can have the satisfaction of having a view of Devatma Himalaya in miniature at Shanti Kunj. Jamdagni's son Parashuram had beheaded several Trojans by his battle axe. This can be taken as a symbolic description also. He had performed tapasya in Yamunotri and had started a campaign for creative transformation. He destroyed evil tendencies of persons who were engrossed in immorality and were acting as impediments in the transformation of the society. He was engaged in the heroic task of rooting out viciousness and corruption prevalent in the minds of the people of his time. For this, Bhagwan Shiv gifted him a Parashu battle axe. In his latter half of life, he had discarded the axe and had taken a spade in his hands, which outwardly was symbolic of tree plantation but actually meant sowing the seeds of righteousness and creativity. The written and spoken words emanating from Shanti Kunj have played the role of Parashu in radically transforming the beliefs, feelings, thoughts, and activities of innumerable persons. Bhagirath had performed rigorous tapasya to bring the Ganga from heavens to earth for removing water scarcity. Bhagirath Shila is situated near Gangotri. Ganga descended as a result of his tapasya and heroic industriousness and was therefore named as Bhagirathi. Bhagirath was put through a tough test. He successfully passed the test and earned the grace of Bhagwan Shiv. Today, there is an all-pervading famine of faith which can only be removed by Gyan Ganga, the divine flow of knowledge. The present famine in the realms of feelings and thoughts can be removed by the cleansing stream of knowledge which is flowing constantly from Shanti Kunj, and it is hoped that goodwill and righteousness will soon be established throughout the world. Charak Rishi had undertaken thorough research of the inaccessible region of Kedarnath in the Himalayas to find out rare medicinal herbs which helped in healing. It is described in the scripture that Charak Rishi used to have conversations with such herbs and inquired from them about their healing characteristics and qualities. He used to collect them at the appropriate time and conducted research on them. Several medicines which help in the growth of the life forces, in pacifying emotions and mental derangements, and which possess the qualities of bringing about positive changes in attitudes, actions, and nature of man are contributions of his research. Ancient Ayurveda has been revived here, and research on finding out rare medicines and testing their ingredients qualities with the help of modern scientific equipments is being done at Shanti Kunj. How the use of only one appropriate medicine at a time can promote longevity is one of the researches which are being conducted here in accordance with Rishi traditions of Charak.
My Life, Its Legacy and Message. हमारी वसीयत और विरासत. Author Sri Ram Sharma Acharya.
If you found this video helpful, then please like, comment and share it, and subscribe to our YouTube channel Rishi Chintan. Please press the bell icon so that you will receive notifications of our upcoming videos. Thank you.